Welcome everyone to our webinar. My name is Diana Golovan. I'm an ELT consultant for National Geographic Learning in Ukraine. And today I'm going to talk to you about teaching to read nonfiction. So what are we planning to do today? What is our plan? First of all, let's have a look at types of reading. Then we'll discuss how to work with nonfiction texts. And during the webinar, you're going to find out different types of tasks that you can prepare in order to engage your readers, engage your young students, your teenagers, and make reading nonfiction as useful as it is possible. If you'd like to ask me any questions or to write a comment to answer my questions, please feel free to do that. You have the question mark button on the right on your screen. This is the only way you can communicate with me. I can see all your messages, however, you can't see others. But from time to time, I'm going to open this chat and look through all your questions. So if you have them during the presentation, please feel free to write. Also after webinar finishes, I usually read all your comments. So if there is something that requires an answer, of course, I will do it in this or that way. Certificates. I know this is an important part of your career, professional development, and lots of schools ask teachers to collect the certificates with the number of hours, with the topics. So you will get the certificate automatically after the webinar has finished. But it doesn't mean you receive them immediately. Sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes it takes a day. But anyway, you're going to get them. Also, there could be any problems with UKR.net mails. We always ask our participants to register different mailboxes because something happened with UKR.net and they don't accept emails. So the system sends them, but from other side, they are not delivered. Unfortunately, that is a problem. So if you have already registered from UKR.net, you can try to register again using the link, but register another email. It can be your email, someone from your family or your friend email, doesn't matter. If you write there your name as you wanted to see in your certificate, you will get it there. How to get the certificate? Again, you will get email that would be saying, thank you for attending, name of the webinar. And you need to scroll down very to the very bottom of the mail. You will get this My Certificate button. If you press it, then you tap Opens and you can download it. So this was like a short guide how to get your certificates. Again, they are sent automatically. Unfortunately, I can do nothing in order to make it faster or something like that. That is the program. That's how it's done. So I guess we can start. National Geographic Learning, that is the publishing house, which I am happy to represent, suggests that our teaching it shouldn't be dull and boring. They believe that real teaching and real learning happens in a meaningful atmosphere. So their slogan is bringing the world to the classroom and the classroom to life. It means real life materials, motivating tasks, up-to-date information, everything that make our students feel that English is something real, something that they really need, and all the knowledge that their textbook and teacher gives to them, they have sense. They have connections with their real life. So, and this is also what I'm going to show you today, how the books represent the reality. Also, I'm happy to invite you to our site. Now we have site for Ukraine. You can see the address of the site on the bottom of the screen, linguist.ngl.com.ua. There you can find all the news. You can watch the recordings of our demo lessons, read some methodological articles. You can open the catalog and look through all of our courses. And also get acquainted with the samples. There is a special button which leads you to the site where you can download all the samples. You can try the book. You can understand if it suits your way of teaching and make a decision. If you have any questions about the National Geographic Learning Series, feel free to contact me. I will share my contact details at the end of the webinar. And I will be really happy to give you a presentation, to consult you, and to help you to find the books that are really the best for you. Let's move on. I don't know if you have ever heard about this book. It is called Critical Thinking in ELT. That is a great methodological book for teachers written by Paul Dummett and John Hughes. People who are into critical thinking, they know a lot about it. When they write any materials, they also always use critical thinking development in the tasks. And we are really happy to know that this is the one of the books that is nominated for the ELT Tons Innovation Award in the category Innovation in Teacher Resources. Really great book with useful advice, with lots of examples, what you can do in order to turn any activity from your textbooks in that one that develops critical thinking. So if you teach teenagers, young adults, pay attention to the book. Here you can see the QR code. You can scan and read more information about the book. And now this is one of the nominants for an award. And now let's look at our chat. I'm really interested to know where you are from. So I know that lots of people always write to me their cities, their places of living. So today we have Lutsk, Kherson, Chernivtsi, Rivne, Mezhirich, Kiev region, Gadach, Ternopil, Kherson again, Starokozatske, Sukhopolova, Vinnytsia, great. Donetsk region, Lochvitsa, Dnipro. Really welcome everyone. Zaporizhia, Brody, Odessa, Kagarlik. So again, we have really wide geography here today. Kramatorsk, Lviv, even the Philippines. So today we're having an international webinar. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone will find something useful and that you will be able to apply in your teaching. And also, thank you for finding time and joining us today. I know it's summer, we are all tired of all this teaching stuff, all this developmental stuff, but anyway, when we learn something new, we open new horizons, we become better professionals. So welcome and join us. Fiction and non-fiction. That is two main types of reading that can be. What is the main difference between these ones? Fiction are the pieces of writing that were invented, right? They can contain not realistic information, right? Maybe it can be some historical events, but some other events may be invented. And nonfiction, that is any piece of writing that doesn't have this imagination, invention, right? This is about facts and real events. Nothing was made up by an author. That is just the material that contains facts. Let's do a little very warm-up exercise. Have a look at these different pieces of writing. Could you find which are non-fiction writing? It's just a warm-up. I guess everyone will find this task really easy, but for you to focus, let's do that. So you write to me article, autobiography, biography, that's right. Diary, interview, article, again, yeah, article, interview, diary, biography. Well done. Thank you. Thank you very much. So these are the answers. So for nonfiction, we have article, biography, autobiography, interview, essay, and diary. Again, these are all pieces of writing that have real life events, contain different facts, right? For the fiction, this is something that was made up by a writer, a group of people. Yeah, it could be fantasy, it could be a poem, it could be a story, a novel, even a historical novel, right? Because maybe events can be really taken from that period of time, but the characters, something was created by an author, right? So also that is it. And of course, when we read nonfiction and fiction, we have different aims in our minds, right? So let's today focus on reading nonfiction. And here is my question to you. I'm sorry. Why do we read nonfiction? And for this, I would like you to make this webinar a bit more interactive. So if you have your mobile phones with you, or if you are sitting from laptops, you can just open the new tab and join one of my favorite site for collecting ideas. It is called menti.com. So what you need to open a browser or a new tab, and you need to enter this email address, this internet address, menti.com. There you need to type a code, and you can answer your questions, your ideas. Why we read nonfiction? So as you see here in our application that helps us conduct webinars, we don't have this chat, and sometimes it's not very interesting for others to have only the speaker's ideas and their own ideas. Sometimes we can teach from other teachers, because all of you have great experience, all of you have great knowledge and have something to share. So I would like today to try this new mode so we can share our ideas. And also, I'll try to, and anyway, you will get the recording, so you will be able to look again, to look through, to remind yourself about anything. So now I see that a lot of people are joining us, and we have really great ideas. So non-fiction, articles, autobiography, interviews, essays, right? We read them to study, to learn new things, to be well informed about different aspects of life, to get information, find facts, to get some news, to improve creativity, critical thinking. Nice. To get information, to broaden your mind, to broaden outlook, for studying, for job, to find out serious information, for example, news. That's right. Entertain yourself, get the information, get knowledge, develop imagination, right? Education, right? So there are lots of appliances of this, and actually, I don't know how about you, but in my life, I realized that I mostly read nonfiction just because I need to be updated on what is happening around in the world, what is happening in the world of teaching. Sometimes I'm interested in the news about different celebrities, and also I'd like to find out some really interesting information about real world. So that is what we read really often, and we need to keep this in mind when we teach our students, that they need to get this real life skill, read and understand nonfiction, especially in English, because they can find out some information that wasn't translated, and they can be the best professionals in their field. So let's read some more of your answers. Get factual info, right? Interesting information to the imaginative world. Probably yes. Maybe yeah. We can read about something that we've never heard about, right? And then make some conclusions to expand vocabulary. That's right, and that was one of my point as well. To read it because it really helps to train our writing skills. Yeah, students can see great examples of great essays, of great articles, and when they need to pass the exam or they need to write something in their real life, they will remember those samples. That's right, good point. For inspiration, something was from Titanic. To know more about a person, to expand vocabulary, to study for inspiration. That's right. We can read about great people, about great events, and be inspired and understand that real people can do that. So, and we also can be like that. We read nonfiction to get to know more about a certain person. Right. That's very good idea. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to go back to our presentation. I will have another question for you, so you will be able to answer again for a deeper understanding of things. That's right. So as you see, reading nonfiction really one of the most important parts in our life, right? In our adult life, in our students' life, they need to read these things. So my ideas was not as many as you've done, but the main one, and those that I would like to highlight today, they are explore the world, spark curiosity, understand how to learn independently, develop critical thinking, to master vocabulary on different topics. What I mean that textbooks usually give a limited number of words. It could be a bigger limit, smaller limit, anyway. And our students can then be engaged in any sphere that was not covered in the book as good as they need to. Right now, we are teachers. We use lots of methodological language, and it was not in our school textbooks. Right, it was in our methodological books. Right, but that was nonfiction that we read, and we got that vocabulary. The same comes for lawyers. The same is for any job. Right. And of course, it helped them to get ready for exams, because usually that is nonfiction text that will be your students will meet during the exam. So if they have these useful skills, how to read nonfiction, they will be able to pass the test much better. Great. So let's imagine you decided to bring some life to your classroom and prepare an article from the site. Of course, being a representative of National Geographic Learning, I couldn't help but find some articles from National Geographic site and from TED Talks site. So let's imagine that they are. What to do with them? To ask students just to read them, or to ask your students to write down all the words that they find useful. Usually, and for us, it could be very interesting information, but how can we be sure that it's interesting for our students? Of course, as teachers, we have to know that. We have to observe our pupils, our students, and understand which types of texts, which information they're interested in, and from time to time, give them this present and ask them to read about something that they are really fond of. So our next webinar would be, would be the discussion. What can we do? What activities we can prepare in order to turn these nonfiction articles in something that can teach our students, in something that can be useful for our students. So it's lots of you wrote to me that reading nonfiction helps to read critical, helps to develop critical skills. In our world, there is so much information. Some of the information is true. Some of that is fiction. Some of the information make us feel that we are in panic. Right? It could be true, it could be false. So we need to understand this. We need to understand which type of texts are worth reading, which is just the press and we don't need it. What important skills help our students to read nonfiction? First of all, skimming the text. We'll look at all these things later, just very quick outlook. Scanning the text. We'll discuss what's the difference a bit later. Then we are going to teach them how to summarize ideas, right? They can read the big article, but they need to get 2, 3, 4 ideas. They don't need all the information, right? Of course, they will meet lots of new words, so it's important to teach them how to infer the meaning and analyzing. Which is fact, which is opinion, which should we rely on, which we should just read for fun or even omit to stay healthy, I would say. I see that some of you are writing something in our chat, so I'm going to read some of your ideas. Make decisions. So why we read nonfiction? You have to make decisions. How to use the text. True, false activities. Fill in the gaps. That's right. We use these activities in order to make our students interact with the text, right? Not just read, but read it for some purpose, right? To understand, to analyze which is true, which is false, for example, right? Give pre-reading general questions on the topic. It's very important. Before we read anything, we need to understand what our students know. We need to ask them different questions so they were more motivated to read the text. And creative thinking. Very good point, Olga. Thank you very much. So reading nonfiction helps us not just to read critically, but also creatively. I like your point, but today we are mostly going to look at these critical things. Academic vocabulary, of course, retelling, yeah, again, but we can retell an article in different ways. We can retell it word by word, yeah. We can summarize it. We can compare the article with what we think about it. And that is all different skills, and they are for different goals. Okay. Vocabulary. When we prepare any article, any text, we need to understand if the text suits our students' level. And of course, we need to read it first and understand which words we need to reteach and which words they can understand maybe from the context. Let's start from the last one. Infer the meaning. To your mind, this inferring, what it means. So it's interesting for me to read your ideas. So in the terms of vocabulary, inferring the meaning of the word, what it means. Make conclusions, summarize, yeah, understand. Good guesses. I mean, right guesses, right? So we form an opinion or guess that something is because of the information that you have, right? So it was like some theory today. Let's have a look at the example. I decided not to take articles. I decided to take the books that contain nonfiction texts for different levels. Why? Because first of all, it's easier to understand for which level they are best for. And also, these books have lots of activities that make us work less, prepare less, and also you can get ideas and use them with your texts. So let's have a look at this text. So at the book first. Disappearing World. That is the book, a non-fiction about a team of people who traveling through Africa. They photograph and document the wildlife and beautiful part of the world. And of course, they wanted to do before this beauty disappears, unfortunately. So will they complete this project? Can they do it safely? So that is this type of text, this book. And here we have the beginning of the book, a little text, and two tasks for students. They need to read this part of the text and understand why Faye feels desperate, right? Another task is to understand what does Faye mean when he says we can't forget about it. Let's do a little practice. Now it's summer. I guess that all of us need have some more free time, I hope. And you can, let's practice, let's do it. Let's imagine that we are students now. So you have 1 minute to look through the text to find the answers to these two questions. I'm waiting for your answers in the textbook, in the chat box. While you are doing the task, it's very interesting comment about inferring a disappearing word. Yeah, when we read the title, we can infer that the next generation may not see what we see today. Right? So we can do that. Now we need to teach our students to do that. So why does Faith feel desperate? For A2, for pre-intermediate level, the word desperate could be a problem, right? So what the book does, they give an explanation of the word, but they also know that giving only an explanation may not help people remember the word. So they ask them different questions so they look closer to the word. Yes, see how it works in the context. So if he feels desperate, something may make him feel that. The forest is about to disappear. Yeah, that was in the text. Thank you very much. He feels that the area is a very special place that's disappearing. Right? So he feels desperate. He can't do nothing about that. Right? And he sees how the beautiful world just vanishing. We have the last one, the last expression. If we don't do it, we can forget about it. What does he mean when he says that? He's a big nature lover and wants to save African gems. That's right. So you see, these little questions make us look much closer to the text, understand better details, and see how the words work in the context. So when you are ready to, when you are getting ready with nonfiction texts, look at these words. Try to put to ask some questions so your students use the words, right? It shouldn't be many words. There, 2, 3 are enough. Try to predict which one would be important for your students, because the word desperate is quite popular, right? And knowing it your students will only benefit with it. So your ideas for the second answer. The new generation may not know about it. If you do not, you can forget about it, right? So we can forget about it. It means that next generation won't see it. The disappearance is inevitable. That's right. He doesn't want to lose the chance. Probably, yes. We can lose a very special place. That's right. He means that people must save the rainforest. Yeah. So, and you see, look at, you can ask this question for your students to discuss in pairs. You can write down their ideas without any evaluation and then discuss it. Make your students give more ideas, right? In this way, we teach them to read between lines and to understand deeper. It will disappear forever. That's right. So 2 simple questions, but your students want to read, don't need to read all the book. They just need to read a little part, work with it, and maybe understanding these parts of the text will help them to understand the rest of the article better. And from my observation, and from my experience, even when I read something, I could say that the most difficult part is the beginning. You need to understand the style of the writer. You need to get adjusted to the vocabulary he uses. And so if you work very closely, hard on the the beginning of the article, the rest of it, which go much easier for your students. That's why use this tip. When you prepare tasks for your nonfiction, look at the very, very beginning of the article. Think what may stop your students from understanding. And prepare some questions like that in order to help them understand the meaning. Good. Great job. Thank you. I really like it that you are very active today. Your ideas are wonderful. Now let's make it more. Let's practice. Yeah, because practice makes perfect. You know that. Let's imagine that we are preparing the class and we have this word conservation. We would like our students to remember this word, to use it. What questions will you ask? You don't need to ask for explanations. Probably you can, of course, because the book doesn't help us with that, right? But also try to think about different questions which help our students use this word. I give you 2 minutes to do that, and I will be happy to read all your ideas. Wow, so many answers from you today. Well done. Ecocentric way of thinking is great for pupils. Right. I agree with you. We live in the world that needs us be aware of its problems. And I think that bringing up the generation of people who will take care of our world is one of the best things that we can do for our Earth. Great. Thank you for sharing your ideas. Yes, Nina, this is a chat room. Unfortunately, the only way to chat with me. To chat is to answer the questions over here. Ideas from Galina. We can start in the class and ask the students to finish later, set as a homework. Yes, and that is the question of motivation. We can ask our students to read the article at home, and 70% of the class will come back without reading it, without having read it, right? But if we create interest, if we start looking at the article, if we find those questions that will like a trigger for our students, they will come back, and much bigger percent of class will read it. Try it. This is a really great idea. Thank you very much. I haven't put it here today, but I totally agree that we need to create an interest to start reading it, like to give like a preview, something like that. And then our students, reading won't be so scary for it wouldn't be just a piece of paper. It would be something that they were working on with you. So what your questions? Good. About conservation. What can be done to save the forest? Taking care of something. Yeah, maybe we can ask to find in the text synonym of taking care. What can we do with nature for the next generations? What can we, maybe to save it for the next generations, right? How do you take care of your pets? Maybe, but here let's have a look. Let's practice. So our aim is to make students understand the meaning of the word conservation and to use it in their language, so they understand what they will like make a part of their vocabulary. Wait, just a second. I've been looking through a text. Is saving the conversation So, of rainforest is as important as the conservation of wood and water and flora and fauna. So, what is more important? Is it the same? Yeah, good. We can let the students watch a National Geographic documentary about the environment. Good idea, right? And these series have it, actually. What can we do to protect plants? Thank you for your ideas. Now some of the ideas that came to my mind. So first of all, try to find a synonym for the word for the protection of plants, animals, and natural areas. So here is a conservation society. So what people in the conservation society do, so what is their job? Yeah, to protect forests, or maybe to explore the world, to help to make other people understand the problem, right? So we need to elicit these answers. Are there any areas in your region which need conservation, right? So we apply their own experience in this to talk about the new word. So use this idea as well. Try to ask different questions, not just WH questions, yeah, when, what, how many, right? But try to make it a bit bigger in order to develop this critical thinking. Ask them, what if? What would you do? What about your experience? Compare it with your country and something like that, right? So these questions will help your students feel that they need these words in order to talk about something that touches them. Also, pre-teaching vocabulary. Something that we always need to remember about. When you take an article, not adapted article, or maybe a text from your textbook, even the text from the textbook, how you understand which words you would pre-teach, and how you would do that. How would you do that? From the list of keywords, yeah, we have these words that students need to know in order to complete this at that level. Yeah, you can use them as well. Also, there are some applications that help us analyze the text. You can write a level, English level analyze or something like that in the search engine, paste the article, and you will see which words from which level there. And in this can help you understand if your students are ready for this text. If, for example, you don't know the group very much or something like that. So now we have lots of ideas from you. Thank you. Great for your activeness. I'm really inspired by this. Okay, keywords. The words that are connected with the text, something that they will help them to discuss it. Teach pronunciation for sure, word lists, puzzles, pictures, if possible, of course. Write down your words. I will suggest some situation on the topic and involve your words there. Great. You can use your own examples, or create examples from your life using these words. And students need to understand from your story what the words mean. Good idea. Using picture synonyms and antonyms, right, not translation. Yeah, we have so many tools to explain the words. Give students new words using the sentence and ask to get their meaning. Yeah, so the context, right. Great that you mentioned that. Non-words I would teach keywords using sentences. Thank you. Great. So some things from me. Actually, you mentioned all of the stuff. So we need to pre-teach the words that can block understanding the main idea, right? So we need to read the article to see what the main idea is, and to understand which words can stop our students, right? Also, for explanations, we can use examples, pictures, explanations, right, to help our students understand the meaning. So that is important. And if the text from the textbook, and you see that there are some exercises, and so also pay attention to these exercises and see which words they need in order to complete these ones. Well, so let's have a look at another book which I find very interesting, about crop circles, this mystery. This is for B2 level. So what it does, everything is already done for us. Yes, so the same thing that we were just discussing. First of all, we need to read the text, and we need to match the words with their meaning, right? I don't think that we will do that, but anyway, there are some answers. So the crops or the plants grown by farmers, phenomenon, unusual occurrence of happening, landscape, an area and countryside, alien, alien, a living being from a planet other than Earth, outer space, the area where other planets and stars are, and UFO, and unidentified flying object, often thought to be from another planet. So that is the first thing that we can do. And another thing, and I like it even more, especially for students with higher levels, this is not explanations of the words, but understanding the words better. So we have these words in board, like you can see them, and we have some questions. They are not asking about the meaning, right? But they ask how will we use that. Yeah. Because especially high level students, they prefer to have, they know so much about learning English. They have already done this activities thousands of times, and it can be boring for them. So asking questions like that, for example, what is another word for enormous? Now you give me the synonyms, right? You have this word enormous, stones. Can you create other ideas? What is the definition? Now you give me the definition, right? What does the word mean in this context, right? So we ask them these questions, and so they will analyze the word, what is around the word, and they will remember it much better. Predictions. Why is predictions important? Again, what are your ideas here? You still write me some questions for preservation. So we need prediction for to think critically, to train our brain, to generate interest, to develop imagination, to get into the topic. These are your ideas. Thank you. To open-mindedness, activate schemata, to stimulate critical thinking, brainstorm, helps to create our brain, attracts attention and gets them interested in the topic. Right. And if to talk about real life, do we need this skill of prediction? For lessons, that's right. We predicting, we can create an interest, right? We can help students and just realize what the topic is. But if in the real life, do we need this skill? Of course. And in what situations? To be active thinkers, right? To teach them how to make conclusions from headings, for example, or from pictures, right? For analyzing, they will meet so many different types of text. They need to understand if the text is worth reading or no. Yeah. If they have these skills, they would become much more confident readers. They will become much more successful learners at the university or maybe after it, to become more confident, right? And if they have this habit of predicting, they will be able to compare what they have in their mind with what is reading. So they won't take everything for granted, right? They will be able to analyze everything. So don't forget about it. Always, I guess you do that. You use this skill. So, for example, reading this part of an article, again, it was from the first book that we had today. So it finishes, if to read the last abstract, about the problem, right? According to a phase plan, the team must cross the river here. So that was a big river. They stopped. They couldn't go further. Will they be able to cross it safely? You can see from the picture that the river is not so easy to cross, right? If they do, how will they do it, right? So what problem may they have, or something like that, right? So we stop reading, we ask them, and actually the book also helps us. Yeah, how will the team cross the dangerous rapids? What will they need to do it, right? What are your ideas, right? We ask students to brainstorm, then they turn the page and they find the answers. So let's look and find the answers. You don't need to write me, just for pleasure. Let's see what they do in order to cross this dangerous river. Here are some comments for you from your personal. Don't fancy predictions based on personal experience. For sure, because it could be biased, right? And again, this is our job, right? Try to use the text and make the predictions. You can even play this game to ask your students to give 3, 4, 5 different predictions, so they will develop this ability, right? Not just what they used to do, right? But to think out of the box. In this case, you will help them to understand that we need to look on different topics from different perspectives. So, according to the text, we can see that the people used the rope, and in this way they crossed the river. So let's move on. I see that according to my clock, we are a bit run out of time, and I have so much information to share with you today. So I try to to be quicker. So skimming for gist. So just 20 seconds for you. When we skim, we do it for understanding general idea or to understand specific details. Again, this is about the terminology. General ideas. Thank you very much. I've got also some interesting ideas from you here. I see that you really great professionals in this topic. Well done. So yeah, we skim for general idea. When do we need this skill? Again, not in the classroom, not at the exam, but in the real life. For example, we need to skim the review and understand if we like this book or film or not. And we can explain this to our students. We need to skim an article to see if it has interesting or useful information for us. Again, we will need it when we work, when we study, because there is so much information, and there won't be always a teacher who will bring something useful for the lesson, right? You need to understand how to do it. That's why we also need to help our students get this idea, and they can get it reading nonfiction, because usually we read fiction for pleasure, so we make it we read it much more attentively. Let's have a look at this book about Brazilian art. So the task for us is to look through it and to understand how is capoeira used and what is the article about. Yeah, we can use pictures, we can use text. We usually give our students very limited time in order to get this idea. Even in these books, you sometimes can find, look through all the books of the story and try to understand what was the aim of this article or something like that, right? So we give very general questions for our students to find answers in very limited time, which is very important. You can see here, skim for gist. What is the reader basically about? What is the role of capoeira in helping the street kids? We can make assumption there would be street kids, what the role is. Facts and opinion. This is one of my favorite, and I faced that young students usually have this problem with understanding which is fact, which is opinion, and it is very important to understand when we read the news, when we read the Facebook news feed, right? We need to understand if we need to panic because it's a real fact, or we need just to skip this information because it's someone's opinion and it has not, it doesn't have any confirmation. So, very simple practice. You can use it with your students, and you will probably need to ask them much more questions in order to help to guide them. So, which is fact, which is opinion? So, in the 1800s, slaves in Brazil invented capoeira. This is fact. Why? You need to ask your students why it is a fact, because here we have the year, yeah, that is some numbers, that is one of the signs. Yeah? When we have these adjectives like long, especially interesting, bright, or something like that, that is an opinion, because for me, this art could be interesting. My friend, it could be boring, right? and try to do it as many times as possible in order to help your students distinguish these things. Also, we need to scan the text to look for some specific details, right? Here it is called fact check, right? True or false? There are some facts. Let's from the book. Let's check them, right? Of course, we always need to ask these questions. You all mentioned them when I was asking how to work with a non-fiction article. So, preparing a non-fiction reading lesson, the teacher has to find the text, prepare some tasks, teach the language, test students' knowledge. Yeah, that is like our program, what we need to do, and how to make the most, right? What can National Geographic Learning do in order to support teachers? So these are the series that are called Footprint Reading Library. You've seen some great examples from these books in our today's webinar, and you see that all of them contain non-fictional texts about different types. There were some places, there were some people, there were some activities. So, and the books are, each level has these 5 topics. Incredible animals, fascinating places, remarkable people, exciting activities, amazing science. So, knowing your students' interest, you can assume and make a prediction which one would be interesting for them. In this way, they would be much more motivated in reading this. The books have levels from A2 up to B2, and each level has 2 sub-levels. It depends on the number of words. So you don't need to analyze the text and understand if it's used for your students or no. You already have this non-fiction reading that is on the level that is suitable for your students. You'll also have the topic that is interesting for your students. The number of words, you can find it here. Even to advanced, we have C1 level. Great. What is more important? The book is like a combination of our different channels of exceptions information. First of all, we can read it. We use reading, right? We have CD, and so you can listen to the text. Maybe you can first listen to it. After that, you can read, or you can listen and read together in order to realize how to pronounce the word, how to pronounce the sentence, practice it, and also, and which is unique for reading series, that is the DVD. You have one DVD for one sub-level. So, for example, that is A2 for 800 words. You have about more than 10 books about for this sub-level, and all of them are collected in one CD and in one DVD. So you don't need to buy one disc for each book. You have it for all sub-level. So you can see that these are, you won't hear the sound, unfortunately, but that is a great picture, National Geographic content. And the text is close to what is in the book. You can see real people talking about real things. Here is about the mysterious land of Machu Picchu. So you can create these reading lessons, make them unique and something that will inspire and engage your learners. For teachers, each sub-level again has a lesson planner. For each book, that is a great support. First of all, that is step-by-step lesson plan. You know what to do, how to engage your students, how to teach words, what questions to ask, how to check understanding. If you want more, not just reading, but you want some learning to happen, there is also a lesson that is based on grammar, which is in the book. Also, there are different types of quizzes, so your student, you will be able to check their ideas. Worksheets for video, worksheets for reading, additional texts, additional tests, and all these. So you have like one book, for example, here you can see Red Panda or Animal Rescue or something like that, right? And for this book, you have so many activities that so you don't. It's not just you read the book and forget about it. No, you read the book, you watch the video, you listen to the audio, you work on vocabulary, you work on grammar. Then you organize this knowledge quiz or something like that in form of a game. So teacher's planner helps you to get the most of each book, actually. And also, what is very important is preparation for exams. And you can see here that there are different types of visual literacy. First of all, photographs. Secondly, these diagrams. Your students will need them when they complete the exam. And in our world, we actually we see these visual aids very often, and we need to be able to read them, to understand them. So these are very simple examples that make our students understand how to work with these types of graphics. You can look closer at it. So to sum up, look at these words and try to remember how they are connected to our webinar. I'm going to finish just in a second. Meaning about the price, you can visit, you will get the link to the book, so you can have a look. And also, if you have the Linguist discount for schools, for educational organizations, you also can use it. I'd like to remind you about our special offers. So we have some books that are on sale right now, so you can use the QR codes and find some books. Please note that on the site they are without a discount. You need to call the linguist representative in order to find out. What the price is. And you can see that there are many books for exam preparation and different learning books and methodological books for you in great prices. These are the series from our publishing house. So if you're looking for a book for next year, you still looking for something new, for something fresh, for something that not only teaches English but also motivates and inspires learners, feel free to contact me. I will be happy to consult you on different types of books and help you to find the best solution for your learners, because we have great choice of books for different aims and for different levels. Our training center, that is the centers that helps you to grow professionally. They suggest different webinars, seminars, and even the full programs of professional development. Moreover, their certificates are those that are approved, so they have the number, so you can use them in order to raise your qualification. And the greatest news from this summer is that they are inviting teachers for summer school in the Western Ukraine. For 5 days, you'll be able to study, to get new ideas, to find new friends, and also to travel the world, to forget about your routine and entertain yourself, and together with a great learning experience. Usually teachers come back from that full of ideas and ready to apply them as soon as they get off the train. Again, I'd like to remind you about the certificate. You need some time for the program to send it out. If you still have time, I will be happy to answer all your questions. All right, I'm reading the chat. So now I'm reading your great and warm feedback. Thank you very much. Anyway, if there are any questions, let's discuss them together. And my contact details, actually. So I think that would be the last slide that you need for today. So if you really need some consultation about the books, about the programs, about National Geographic learning in general, how it supports teachers, how you can benefit from using our books, feel free to contact me. So I'm very sorry for delay. I hope that anyway you found really great ideas. I would like to thank you all for being attentive, for being active, for giving your ideas, for sharing your ideas, for showing me that the information that I have prepared for you is something that you really need. Also, you will get the feedback form, so feel free to write down all the questions, everything you would like to comment on. I really read these feedbacks, and we try to make our work better together with your help. So thank you again. Have some rest. The weekend is very soon. It's summer, and I wish you to have rest and to get inspired for the future, for your future school year. So thanks and bye.